Today, our DATV Net will be starting in around about 2.5 minutes time. This is Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India. Just testing audio to make sure it's not too bad. And we will be starting shortly. This is ZA6 yoke item. Just make sure everything is connected. I've been too busy in the shack today to have followed up all the tests. Anyway, we will be on in due course. Okay, it's just gone 1400 hours UTC, 4 o'clock South African time. This is ZA6YI opening the worldwide DATV Net today. Today we wish to thank the BATC, of course the AMSAT DL group, the AMSAT UK group, and a very special word of thanks to the Qatar Satellite Company for allowing us the opportunity to be on their satellite. Although it's an amateur satellite, but it's combined with the Qatar Satellite Company's satellite. Today on frequency we have the following. We have myself and then Martin, G8KOE. We have GW7BZY Peter. And of course Peter's in Wales, and ZS1 Mike Leon down in Worcester in the Cape, South Africa, and then all the way down to South America to Brazil, Papa Yankee 2 Radio November, Ed, and he's going to discuss his visit to A47RS by PY2AE. That will be interesting. Hello to you there, Brian, G6HFS. And if there are any more, please do come on. I'll keep an eye on the list, so will the others, and they will give you a turn as it comes down the end of the list. So all good. So with that, Martin, would you please take the microphone from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India?
Yeah, is this your old microphone or your new microphone you're giving me? That's just what I'd like to know. Or have I got to come over and get it? Well, I haven't really got a lot I've been doing that's radio-wise, but we thought we'd... I was looking on the Tech Minds site, as I do every so often, and there was an old video on there, I think 6 months ago, that he produced, which I'd never heard of it, but probably everybody else has heard of HAARP, High Frequency Active Aurora Research Program. That sounds like a mouthful, doesn't it? So if everybody is aware of it, if they're not, then go and have a look on the web and see what you can dig up and see. But I'll just show a couple of pictures that it says if I get the let's go to the screen. Why didn't that work? Because I hadn't done that button. Right. Well, it's part of the modest array that was shown. We'll just whip through some of these. There's just that I found on there. It's a massive array over a rather large area, supposedly to affect the weather. Well, I thought it was impressive, but as you can see, some aurora type sort of disturbance that it has made. But I didn't know these things existed, but it's massive. It really is massive and steerable and covers a wide range of frequencies. I think they've been using it to send signals to Jupiter, but I could be wrong on that. But everybody else probably knows all about it, but I didn't. But it just shows what you can come across. Anyway, that's probably enough of that. But do go and look it up if you're interested. And that was Matt's. If you go and find Matt's site, Tech Minds, you'll find there's a nice little video he's done, which is quite interesting. The other thing I've been playing with is M17, which I know I said the other day I was playing with it. Very experimental. That's my hotspot, which is based around the Raspberry Pi. And I've got to say a big thank you to Matt yet again, who spent ages on my computer setting up things for me. So a big thank you to him. I'd have never managed it. This black art of playing with all this code is just too much for me. And yeah, I just saw a little message come up, but I wasn't sure. The other thing that I was watching, let's go back to a camera, hit the right one. I also got the bookshelf at the back in Leon's, which seems to have lots of books to do with, is it the AAE or the road or whatever. And I suddenly thought that, I was thinking of Gary also, that I remembered I'd got a book that I didn't think, I should think he's probably got a copy in his glove compartment, which I think he goes out driving without it. So let's go over to my roving camera. I can't get the eyes working. Well, there it is. A motor manual. It's just what you need. All about IT in simple language. I'd forgotten I'd got it actually. But we'll attempt to open it up. Some interesting ads. I can't do it with this hand. Cartoons. Endless. Because everything. One thing that if I can find the right page now, maybe it is. There's this little pull-out in here, which to help you to repair all your motors. Just don't make them like that anymore. and I couldn't resist sort of showing it. Probably boring everybody, but there you go. There's lots more in there. Lots more pictures of chassis and things, and tyres and types of bodywork. Anyway, and I hadn't done much radio. The only other thing I did, let's go back to a camera, radio-wise, is that I finally got the Pluto working on the narrowband end through my main PA, which I've been trying to do for ages, and for some reason having a mental block. So I can now use the Pluto to work the narrowband end. So I don't have to use the 991, which I was using to through a DX Patrol up converter to get there. So that's a lot of waffle from me about not a lot, but yeah, Gary, if you need me to lend you this book, I don't mind, you know. Or I can send it to you if you feel you have the need. That's rude, isn't it, really? Right, I think it's I know the other thing. There was one other thing I was going to say. I know. Let's go back to the screen. Left screen, main off. The only thing that I've used NDI for is that, funny enough, it's the vMix Capture NDI program that you used to get when you could get a free NDI. I think it's a very small utility which I run on the laptop. So if I click on this one, which is the utility on the laptop, it's going to confuse things, but that's now the laptop looking at the streaming side of things. It all gets terribly confusing, and I wish I hadn't have done it now, because it doesn't come over too well. But anyway, that's for Peter, that I do use NDI. The main NDI I found was Resource Hungry, that you were talking about using. I tried to use it on the system here just to stream locally, and probably because I'm doing so many other things, it was a failure, really. It worked, but it wasn't anywhere near as good as the little NDI utility that they used to give away with vMix way back in many years gone by. Right, are you ready with your audio there, Peter? The audio was a bit low as well, so whether you've managed to crank up the volume a bit, I don't know. So I'll pop up a test card and throw it over to you from G8KOE.
Okay, sorry about that. Just too many things open on the screen. Yeah, GW7B's wide to the group. Yeah, very interesting there, Martin. I thought it was a bit harsh on Gary with his car, but I would have thought that book was a bit too modern for yours. I think probably the nearest thing to a breakdown you have is when you forget your cranking handle, isn't it? One of them hazards of age, I think. Or probably the last vehicle you had to feed it hay rather than petrol. But there we are. Yes, NDI, one of my favourite things. Is correct. I think you were saying that. I'll just put it on for the benefit of those who probably were watching it earlier, but can be bored again with it. But NDI, as well as vMix, is one of my favourite and most useful software. And I did neglect to tell Gary last time we spoke of it, which was a little earlier, that it's a bridge. Means the information goes both ways. Your guests can see your desktop, not your desktop, but your inputs on your vMix, and you can see their inputs, and you can choose which input you want. So in fact, if your guest has 2 or 3 cameras and they're open on vMix, well, you can have 4 inputs, can't you? So you could have 3 cameras, and you can choose which one you want, and mix it from the receive end. I don't find it application hungry. I'm running sort of like a 12th gen i7 or i9, I think it is, and it all seems to work pretty well, and I have a pretty good bandwidth on the internet. Not massive by modern standards, but enough. And I run H.265. I actually paid for the license for the H.265 encoder, which I usually run the encoder, which works very well, at around 5 megs. You can vary the coding as you see fit, as your system allows. I'll just cut that in now. Hello, Gary. Yeah, audio great here. Yeah, my audio not very loud. I'll see if I can attend to that now. Let's see if I can do it. I bet you when I do this, it'll crash. This is the usual thing when you try and do something on the fly while you're transmitting. TDR Nova, this is called. This is a plugin which can crash and probably will any moment. And let's turn the gain up. That's me bass up. And let's turn the gain up in the middle there. We'll have a threshold on that. We'll go down minus 10 dB, which I believe is the correct area. And the ratio will be 10 to 1. Or 9 to 1, 10.5. 9.9 to 1, that'll do for now. Hopefully that is a little loud and up the average gain level as well. There we go. Can you hear me now? Yay! Okay, probably good enough now. Maybe redlining it a little bit. Turn it down a bit. There we go. Okay, there we go. That'll do. Hopefully loud enough with a little bass. I usually put a cut at about 200 kilohertz, which apparently is good for clearing up the muddiness of audio, although I think the NVIDIA audio processor probably takes care of everything anyway. But so I'm a bit loud and a little bit more processed on the bottom end. Yeah, so vMix and NDI play very well nicely together. I don't know about OBS. I don't think it has the same facilities, but somebody can correct me and tell me I'm wrong. I'm quite happy with that. Okay, audio as well. There's vMix. There's NDI, the bridge, NDI.com, and it's a suite of tools. And you have monitors, which you can monitor any NDI. It's not strict. It's not limited to NDI only. NDI is integrated very nicely into vMix. So any input that you put into vMix, no matter how it goes into vMix, whether you grab it from your monitor or from a camera such as this, it will appear on the NDI output if you so choose it. I don't know how many. I think you can have 2 or 3, and depending on your bandwidth, obviously, if you've got a really good internet, then you can make more use of it. But you can also use it local, as Martin does, from the say from my second PC, which I couldn't get going for now. I mean, it's been languishing in the corner, collecting dust, and it's with no connections. And I was just about to connect it up, but the time disappeared and I didn't get it all working. Whereas you can run, you can have alpha in it as well, so you could run overlays or downstream key or whatever from your other PC, and then put the video into the streaming PC or vice versa, whichever as you feel. I think you can run more than one PC, so you could have a laptop, a PC going. You can download a app on, I don't know about Apple, but certainly with Android phones. Although I see it's £17 now, where it used to be free, for a camera app, so you can turn your phone into a camera, and that works. It all works flawlessly. The thing about it, it works. There's no ifs or buts. You switch it on, it does the job, and it's professional in that respect. I'm just showing you that. I know I'm rambling. Where's the program? NDI bridge. So you've got local, that's the local version, which you can drag anything from your local network without the need of opening a port. You can join, which is on next to it. And why it's not animated, I don't know, because it should be capturing animated. And yes, it's animated now. It's just a bit of delay. Join, you need to put a password in, and the server port and the server IP address, which is generated by the host. And the host has you can generate a password. I've got my password in there any moment. If anybody has an NDI set up, I'll start the bridge, and if anybody fires up that encrypted key and my IP address, then they'd be in my input. You can copy that, and that would come out. Let's see if I can find that. I'll see if that will go into. Well, that's the IP address that's gone down the chat. For some reason, the chat is not accepting the whole part of it. But you can send the link as an email or on any messenger service quite easily, and that's how you forward your link. Of course, you need to port forward on the 990, I think it is. Yeah, 5990. Open the port and off you go. Very simple, very easy. And it opens the vMix as an input. So you go into inputs, you add an input, and you look down, you see the list, you see NDI sources, and then you'll see a little freeze frame of your input. Or you can you get your monitor, which is part of the suite, and that monitor will give you the option of what you want to monitor. You can open more than one instance of the monitor, so you can monitor a number of inputs. How many, I'm not sure. I only used to run 2, and that works perfectly well. And you can monitor, and there's a mix minus on the audio, so there won't be howl round. So they only hear your audio, but not the outgoing audio. And of course, they can see you, and it works both ways. It's a bridge, not a link, not a P2P in that respect. So it works very well all round. And as for demanding, like I said, it all depends on how much you've got on your network and the quality of your network. I use a plug in the mains socket rather than Wi-Fi, because obviously when I'm transmitting on 2.4 gigs, there's a chance that there might actually be some spurious on 5 something as well, mightn't there? Hopefully not. But certainly would blank out 2.4 gig connection. So I use hardwired, obviously the best. But there we are. That's my spiel on NDI. Very good indeed. I was hoping that somebody would come on, Martin there, and we could link and do a bit of a link. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Possibly. If you could find the cranking handle. Hey, Martin. With that, I'm going to hand it round to who's next now. I had it open on a page a moment ago, and I've lost it now. I've closed the website, so I don't know. So I'm thinking it's Leon, not Leon, the guy in South America, I think. Is it Brazil I'm going to now? Come in, Brazil, from GW7BZY, or Portugal. No, not Portugal, Panama maybe. South America, we'll go with that. From GW7BZY. I'll go with a test card. Hold on. It's all go, isn't it?
Yeah, South America must wait a little bit. It's not his turn yet. Okay, hello there everybody. Gary, Martin, Peter and Ed, and also Brian from ZS1 Mike in Worcester. It's a lovely warmish day today. We have sunshine for a change and most of the snow's gone, so yes. Okay, Martin, that harp, I think I've seen something about it, but I've forgotten all the detail and so on. It reminds me of the Super Dawn radar they have in New Zealand, which is also a low frequency over the horizon radar thing. It was also a huge network of masts and antennas. But that thing, I know nothing about it. For monitoring the aurora, yeah, no, we'll have to read up on that. And I'm fascinated by your motor book. I thought that's going to be on electric motors, because you people normally talk of cars, not motors. Motors are electric motors that turn around. So you had me baffled there until you opened it up and showed us, but it's actually antique cars, like my book of the car. But I think mine is slightly more modern than yours. Yeah. Okay, very interesting. The rest of the stuff that you're talking about, I know nothing. That's all computer jargon that I know nothing about. And Peter, yeah, your picture looks good. Audio's good. That what NID stuff you're talking about, I also know nothing about. I just use what I've got. Plain and simple OBS. It does it for me. Yeah, what have I got to show? I was fortunate. A guy at the airfield, I've worked on his plane some time ago. He phoned me the other day and he said, yeah, he wants to talk to me about other things, but he's got a bag of old radios for me. And it turns out that it's a pair of these ICOM V8 handhelds. ICV8. And fortunately he gave me the operating manuals as well. They're in perfect working condition. They still have NiCad battery packs. This is a replacement pack already. But he gave me the other packs as well. They're also still working, but I opened up the one and I replaced the NiCad cells with lithium ion, and it works beautifully. But I'm amazed at the functions that this thing has. If you read through the book, it can do all sorts of things. You can select any subaudible tone. You can do DTMF. You can use it as a pager. You can use it as a repeater. You can do all sorts of things. Amazing. I'm so out of date with what the modern stuff does nowadays. But anyway, they 5.5 watt output on 7.2 volts. So that's more than enough. I can do the repeater from here. What, that's 145.675. Oh, the volume's probably closed. Oh, the repeater's not very hot today. Anyway, so I've got two of these with a charger and stuff, and the manuals, fortunately, and also a Maxon. But the Maxon is not direct frequency access. You only have like 16 channels, and you probably have to take it to the dealer to program them for you. They're on 141.6 or something. That's where all of them were. But this is direct frequency, and I just put it on whatever, any AM band. They're supposed to be 136 megs to 152 or something. I think they're supposed to cover. Anyway, I'm quite impressed by them. It works well, and all the functions, my word, on that little thing. You probably can't fix it if it ever breaks. Just change the batteries. Right, we now go to Ed. And Gary, you did some tests earlier. It sounded horrible. So just stick to what we had it last time. You don't need the extra equalizer on your mixer, on your A to D. Leave it as it was. That is still the best. When you had that extra bass and the compression, it was horrible. Like going through 10 pairs of socks. Ed, let's see your cartoon. Papa Yellow 2 Romeo November for the group from ZS1 Mike in Worcester.
Oh, stand by, stand by. Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand?
Yeah, directly from Panama. This is Papa Yankee 2 Radio November. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you all. Great transmissions. Hello, Gary. Always great image and sound. Martin, Peter, Leon, and Brian, who is going to be after me. Let mute myself. Okay, yeah, much better now. Yeah, fantastic. Leon, while you're showing this icon handheld and you transmitted, it caused some RFI to your audio. So you just pressed the PTT and we could listen to a humming on your audio. So the 5 watts, it's too much, I think, for the internal while you're transmitting here on the ATV. Not the image was not affected, but the audio, your audio, yes, it was. NDI, yeah, OBS 29 is compatible with NDI, the version 29, and I don't know if there is other newer, but I tested NDI with the version OBS version 29 and it worked. 27, which I'm using here to use the ATV Easy, is not compatible, but not missing it. That's fine. Yeah, well, guys, just show you a quick movie from my neighbor, Papa Yankee 2 Alpha Echo, Marcelo. A few weeks ago he did a long travel to Eastern Middle East countries. One of them was Oman. So that I'm just telling you the history of the movie I'm gonna pass to you. So he mentioned on his Facebook that from tomorrow I'll be in Oman, in Muscat, Oman, and I read the post and they say, well, you're gonna be in Muscat. Give a call to Khalid, Alpha 41 Zulu. I think some of you guys talked already to Khalid. He was very active on QO-100. Not much more, but yeah, he was very active from Oman, Alpha 41 Zulu, and he's very active also on HF digital mode. So many of you certainly already contacted him, even people that are viewing us are gonna remember this call sign. So he called him, and yeah, Khalid was very nice as always, and they met. They get some lunch or dinner, I don't know, and Khalid took Marcelo, Papa Yankee 2 Alpha Echo, to know the radio club, the Oman's radio club. So the movie I'm gonna show you is about this. Obviously Marcelo is going to speak in Portuguese, but I'll try to translate simultaneously if I can get. Um, yeah, I think that's the movie. So let's go. Yeah, that's the radio club there in Oman, in Muscat. They these radio clubs are sponsored by the sultans there, which they are ham radio operators as well. Yeah, Marcelo is saying, hello everybody, I'm here at the radio club. I'm gonna show you their rigs, their station. It's a beautiful station there.
Romeu Santiago, gente, olha a labre deles. Essa aqui é a estação de conteste deles, tá?
Several
Fica bem no
radios.
centro da cidade aqui. 4 estações desse lado,
They use
mais
4
3 do
contests.
outro, né? Então eles operam multi-operador, multi-rádio, né? Quando eles estão firmes nos contestes. Vamos dar uma olhadinha na estação. Todos os rádios aqui são TS 990. O último modelo da Kenwood.
They are all TS 990.
Com 2000A. Olha que bacana, gente. Só que eles estão falando que a dificuldade deles aqui é a dificuldade de operador, né, gente? Porque é um país que não tem tanto radioamador, né? Eles têm mais ou menos 15, 20 operadores.
Yeah, they cannot find enough radio operators.
O interesse por concurso não é
Because they
grande.
don't have too many ham radio operators there.
47,
So they have more radios than
né?
operators.
Mas mesmo assim, eles têm um prédio enorme aqui no centro da cidade. E eu não poderia deixar de vir aqui mostrar para vocês, tá bom? Agora eu vou mostrar para vocês o Khalid, que é o Alfa 41 Zulu Zulu que me trouxe aqui. Hello, people.
Hello, my friend.
This is Khalid, Alpha 41.
Zulu Zulu. Welcome to
Yeah.
Oman, my friend.
Myself, Mohammed, Alpha 41 Delta Lima.
Yeah, Delta Lima e o Zulu Zulu, gente. Então,
Welcome to Oman, my friend. And whoever is now watching this video, please visit Oman. You are most welcome.
olha, gente, ele tá pedindo pra gente vir visitar o Mano, tá pedindo.
Please give us a call and let us know you are welcome.
Gente, o Khalid, ele é uma legenda do rádio. A hora que vocês abrirem o rádio em FT8, o Khalid tá lá, entendeu? Vocês vão falar, vocês já devem ter muito contato com ele, é uma simpatia.
No.
É uma,
Don't believe. No,
Yeah, he's mentioning Khalid is a legend. He's always on the radio.
Mas ele sabe tudo, gente. Ele é muito simpático, ele é um amor de pessoa e me trouxe aqui para conhecer a estação, viu? Muito obrigado. Thank you very much, Khalid. Nice to meet you, huh?
He's very nice.
And welcome to Oman again. Welcome.
Yeah, and after this radio shack from the radio club, he's going up to the roof to show the antennas, including the QO-100 antenna.
E aí, pessoal, olha eu voltando aqui da Labre aqui de Oman, Alfa 47 Rádio Santiago. E aqui agora eu tô no teto deles. Eu tô aqui na parte superior, né, as antenas que eles usam. É uma estação muito bonita, gente. Só para vocês saberem, esse prédio pertence ao governo. O governo que libera as comunicações aqui. E esse clube tem toda a autoridade para fornecer indicativo, para controlar o uso do radioamadorismo aqui no país. Olha que bonito, gente. As antenas. E aqui eu tô no topo do prédio, né? É um prédio de 3 andares. Aqui em Oman, em Muscat. Olha o mar ali. Olha, o mar já tá ali, olha. Estou bem próximo do mar.
3-floor building.
Então, o Khalid quis me trazer aqui para conhecer a antena do QO-100. Olha a antena do QO-100 aqui.
That's the QO-100 dish.
40, ele falou que é 40 graus de elevação. Fazer M, VHF. E aqui eles têm as OptiBeam.
40 degrees elevation.
Não tem antena monobanda, como vocês podem ver, né? São só todas as antenas conjugadas e tá bom demais, tá bom, gente? Então não poderia deixar de mostrar para vocês aqui em Oman a Labre deles, Alfa 47 Rádio Santiago, tá bom, gente? Valeu, tchau!
All right, that's it. Hope you guys could see the short movie. That happened, I think, last month. All right, so get Brian, Golf 6 HFS, back from Cat 23. Tell us the news, Brian. So, camera to you, Golf 6 Hotel Fox Sierra from Papa Yankee 2 Radio November.
Yep. Okay. Good afternoon, good morning, evening. Yep. Just got back actually. I'm a bit late on parade, but yeah, I actually made it this year. Met most of the guys we see on this frequency and others. So that was all interesting. Even EA7 KIR from Spain was there. So I had a chat with Michael and a few of the other guys. Some presentations been done for contests and whatnot, certificates and the like. A little bit of chat about tuners for the new mini tuner I've been looking at. So hopefully that'll be something in the future to look forward to soon. They're busy working on, and a few demonstration stations were there. So yep, that was a good afternoon, or a good day should I say. It's not too far up from me where it was held in Coventry. It's just on an hour's run. It's just about 75 miles each way, so not too difficult. And being at the aircraft museum, that was pretty interesting. Had a walk around there for 3/4 an hour as well at the museum. So yeah, not a great deal other news apart from bits and pieces for sale and junk and free. I managed to pick up some fan guards which I needed, which were on the free table, so that wasn't too bad. As for myself, what have I managed to do? Well, the potty shield has grown. So there we go, that now covers the potty and the LMB, which has all been set up. I'm now getting a anywhere between sort of 9.5 and 9.8 on the dish size I've got, so I think that's doing well, so happy with that. The only other thing I've done is P1CHY did a PCB because the little power supplies for Winter Hill are getting sparse, so I managed to get the PCBs made and 5 sets of components, all for the same price as the little DC boards would cost. Here's the first one that's been built and tested. So that's what I've been up to this last week. Not been on for a couple of weeks. I'll only make this one over today, but because we've got the son visiting this weekend, so need to keep him amused before he goes back this evening. And just been visiting relatives the last few weeks, so I haven't been around on the Sundays. So apologies for that, but we will have to do things. So I'll hand it back to, I think it's Gary, isn't it, in the group, if I'm right. Net control. Yes, it's back to Gary. So G6HFS handing it back to net control.
Okay, Brian. Very, very good. Very interesting too. Brian. Okay, just cut the audio. Wonderful. No, that's been very interesting. Firstly, I just want to welcome the guys watching on YouTube. We have Ishmael, Delta 7, Zulu, Delta 2 rather, India Echo from Germany. And then Peter, Charlie 88 Sierra Papa Yankee from Mozambique. And then we have Stuart, ZR6 Delta Charlie Papa, who happens to be in Botswana at the moment. Then we have another Stuart, ZR6 Whiskey Tango. And then we have Matt, Mike 0 Delta Quebec Whiskey, just watching today. Adam, Sierra Papa 9 Alpha Charlie Quebec. Ohan, ZS1 Sierra Charlie India. And Peter, Delta Kilo 3 Zulu Foxtrot from Hanover in Germany. Yeah, quite an international group indeed. But yeah, all good and interesting again as usual. Thank you very much, Martin. Yeah, I do need a manual like that. I need to replace the back shocks of my one Rolls Royce. The air things, I think, have the bladders have packed up. And so it's a little bit bumpy on the back. So that has to be done. I normally have a guy up in Johannesburg who does these things, but he hasn't answered calls of late. So I hope he's okay and that he's still in business. And then Peter, all good and interesting on that MDI. What do you call it? I wrote it down. NDI. My apologies. Very, very interesting. And Peter in Mozambique, if you're listening, that might be the answer to some of our issues we were playing around with the other day. And then Leon, yeah, nice walkie-talkies, those, by gums. They are good. And of course, they can also go into airband. I think those are opened up enough to go down there. So you've been very lucky. And they're nice, robust units, those. I would say they're more commercial than amateur, so they can take a harder knock. There's been a lot of talk these days, you know, the young fun, what do you call those things? The U-23. It's one of these little walkie-talkies that many people have bought. Suddenly, it apparently not allowed in South Africa. Our communications authority, ICASA they call themselves, have banned these little walkie-talkie things. And so there's been a bit of a debate on the various forums regarding that. Anyway, I don't know where it'll go. I thought amateurs were allowed to experiment. But we shall see. And our digital television band is about to one day come on, but they've cancelled all or most transmissions on the analog bands for television, which is around about 700 megs or something, between 400 and 700 megahertz. And so the telephone mobile guys are waiting to grab that. So interesting times in this part of the world. Brian, excellent on your visit to CAT 23. That must have been interesting, and also to have, as we call them, an eyeball-to-eyeball QSO with the guys that you speak with on DATV and on other modes. Yeah, that's nice to be able to attend that. And then, of course, Ed, what a lovely video that was. And as usual, excellent audio, excellent video from your side. So that was great. And we say hi to everyone in Oman. And they must come on the net. They must come on the net. They've got everything going there. And nice equipment to drool for. 3 of those beautiful Kenwoods that we saw in the one sweep. And then, of course, the ACOM 2000 linear. Also a great linear, and you can change bands very quickly and it goes. My work this week on amateur radio has been to reconstruct some of the 2-meter repeater. I didn't really do any of the electronic reconstruction. There was no need for that, other than just helping the PC board along a bit with a bit of wire. But I moved everything 40 millimeters across on the heatsink. So I had to remove the stuff and then add up, calculate all the holes. So I logged them in on the milling machine so that we could just go and drill them 40 millimeters up, which has been done and threaded. So we can just drop the whole thing in there. And why I had to do that was to make space for the digital temperature controller, which we cut in. And I've mounted it deep into the heatsink so that nobody can bump it accidentally and mess it up. So next week, I hope to have a little bit of a video as we had it on the milling machine. We also skimmed it properly and put in the new holes and so forth. So that should be something I can show next week. Right, with that, let me just see now. Martin, would you kindly take it? We'll make this the last over. G8 KOE from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India.
Right, thought I'd dig out a slightly more modern book. This time keeping the theme. Don't know whether you can read that, but whether you get there fast on 4 wheels, park where you please on 3, or take your time on 2. Anti-fade linings and some Michelin X tyres. And this book is the RAC Guide and Handbook 1960. Anyway, it's amazing what you find in the cupboard. But yeah, your Final Cat 23 sounds interesting. It's good to meet up with people. It's a bit too far of a drive for me. I don't like driving anymore. So that's why I didn't go. And did have a couple of other things that I needed to do. Like be on the net, that's it. I see Matt is lurking in the on the chat. I see he's there. So if he is, thank you to him for his help. So I wonder if he's still talking to me. What else was I going to say? Not a lot. Oh yes, yeah, that all those aerials and the radios, etc. Absolutely amazing. Not enough operators. Dear oh dear, that's not good, is it? And I think I've got NDI tools on it. I think it's NDI tools, wasn't it? I typed the wrong thing in now. Yeah, it is. I think I've got it on the computer. It says. Oh, I'd installed it, but not. Probably this is where everything falls over. No, this doesn't look like I've installed it yet. But maybe I might give it a try with you another time there, Peter. But I'll have to open port up and one thing and another. But I am streaming at the moment on the BATC at JKOE. So that's stream much. I think I'm streaming. I've not actually even checked it. Normally I'm monitoring it. So if anybody's made any comments there, apologies. But there's go. And you're fine there, Leon, on your book being much modern. Well, I'm getting there slowly with finding more modern books, and I remember when I was doing TV service, going down to this lake that was up near Dorking, near Abinger Hammer, in fact, and drove down to it. And there was an AA motorcyclist there. And I didn't take any notice of it initially, but it was, they were actually filming. And so I went to the pub that was just up from it, because, as you do, it was only afterwards I found the film, but the sort of water area that was there was where they recorded the original Excalibur film with the sword coming out of the mist, because it sort of tends to get a lot of mist on this particular one. I can't remember exactly where it was, but it was when I worked at from Dorking. Anyway, that's a lot of waffle and not a lot of content, so apologies there. And I'll pass it around to Peter. And thanks for everybody coming on the net. It's been good. Thank you, Gary, for running it, etc., etc. I can't help you with your Rolls Royce there. It sounds like hard work, that does. No, I can't do any. I was never that good anyway with the mechanical side of things, but don't have the kit car anymore, so I don't have anything to do. And Dad's car used to have a handle on it, which was quite useful to get it going. But yeah, I had to watch that didn't kick back. Right, round to you there, Peter. I'll stick up a test card and go from G8KOE.
Okay, yeah. No, I'm not going to play my saxophone, don't panic. Okay, yeah. No. Very interesting all round there. I was going to say, Gary, you've got to watch those BMWs because they've got cheap plastic parts in them, but I think that might be the wrong thing to say. Obviously, the parts improved of late, I hear, but they are particularly poor, I believe, and Rolls-Royce are BMW, aren't they? So, you know, I mean, when it gets to be 10 years old, unless it's a really old Rolls-Royce, it might be one of the original models where I don't know if they had air shocks or hydraulics, didn't they? They had hydraulics in the old ones. But the more modern ones, the new German one, the BMW, yes. Anyway, not I'm never going to ride in one. But my car was built in Britain, by the way. That's what I like about it. I had the Honda previously that was built in the UK, and the Toyota is built in Derby, which is my family home. My mother's from Derby, and my parents, they worked on the railways. Grandparents worked on the railways, and I think the engine is built in on the Wirral, so that's even local to me. So there we are. I like to buy British where I can. There was something else I was going to say. The CAT 23, I did want to go. Unfortunately, I'm on holiday Tuesday onwards. I hope the mother-in-law's not well. She's in the local hospital. The wife's having a bit of a meltdown. Today is the last day I could cancel my hotel reservation and get my money back. She says she wants to go. I'm not a gambling man. I want my money back, really, but I'm going to lose it. I can tell. So that's going to be quite a painful loss for me. So I'm not feeling well at the moment. Nice stinger there, Ed. I thought your little animation was very good. I don't that was your DIY one from Blender. I would assume so, but very good indeed. What else? I'm hoping Leon likes my audio because I have added some compression to it, obviously, apart from the NVIDIA, which I assume processes the audio as well as reduces of noise reduction and what have you. I'm just looking at you transmit via. But anyway, okay. Thanks for having me in. And M17. Pretty good. I'm hoping to get involved with that at some point when it becomes. I know you can get it programmed into a radio at the moment. There's a couple of radios that do accept it, and you can use it mobile. when that becomes more of a thing, then I'll probably get involved. I know it's experimental, and I've got various radios, audio I don't ever use, so it'd just be another thing, wouldn't it? Sitting on the shelf, and I've got, as you can see, I've got a shelf full of things. I've got a HF radio. I'm still waiting to put an area up, and the wife doesn't like me long wire. Even though it looks exactly the same as a washing line, it offended her. So anyway, I've moaned about this before. Yeah, Leon, like your background. I'm glad you've ditched the white background. I like the set or your shelving and etc. It looks far more interesting, and picture looks better as well. I don't know, somehow it looked dark previously. I think it just shut down the camera again. Yeah, and of course, Matt. We're not seeing you, Matt, so can't see much to Matt. But maybe you can have a little play with my computer and sort out some M17. Oh no, I'm looking at the text and nothing much going on. So, no. I'll tip from GW7BZY. Maybe next weekend, probably not. I've got to go back to work at some point. I'm on holiday now. I've got 11 days off, and I've already had this is my 4th. So it's off to Eastbourne from Tuesday onwards. Fingers crossed. Mother-in-law doesn't die, mother-in-law doesn't get worse, or dies tonight, and we go Tuesday.
I think you're treading on thin ice, Peter. Yes. Okay, right. Okay, Gary. Yes, I haven't heard from you the whole week. I was wondering what you were up to, what you were doing. Must have been very busy. Yeah, okay, Martin, as I say, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Peter, yeah, your audio is very lively. I can hear fans and stuff in the background, which I couldn't hear before. But otherwise, it's crisp and clean. And yeah, Ed, very nice video. The quality is amazing. I don't know what they used for taking it. But yes, it came through very nicely. And oh, by the way, Peter, your picture froze quite a few times. When you move too much, it would just freeze. The audio carries on, but your picture just stands still, and then a couple of hundred frames later, it just carries on. So I don't know whether you had too much movement there, or it was the saxophone drawing too many amps off your system, or what. But anyway, yeah, Gary, you've mentioned before this Baofeng thing. Well, they can go jump in the lake. Maybe for commercial use, or non-amateur use, the legislation holds. But amateurs are allowed to use anything because you're allowed to build your own. So provided you don't cause interference to other commercial users, they have nothing to say about it. If you stick within your licensed bands, in the amateur bands, you can do whatever you like. The problem is the people who are sitting there nowadays know nothing about radio. And yeah, they get guided by people who know even less. So that's why it's a mess like it is. Yeah, it's not just UHF TV, Gary. It's VHF. Our TV starts at about 185 megs. We don't have band 1 like they used to have in the UK, but I mean our frequency here from the 12 kilowatt transmitter here is 199.225 megs, and it's actually still running. But yeah, with one foot in the grave sort of thing. Okay, that's it from me. Brian, very nice little power supply board you showed us there, and well constructed. Don't know where you get all those specialized components, but yeah, looks, and it's all in one. All the voltages on one board. That's lovely. That's very nice. You don't need a lot of separate regulators and stuff. Okay, so that is it from me. I say cheerio, and we'll see you next time. From ZS1 Mike, giving it to Ed. Papa Yellow 2, Romeo November for the group. from ZS1 Mike saying cheerio 73s. Where's my mouse? There.
Thanks, Leon. Zulu Sierra 1 Mike Papa Yankee 2 Radio November coming back. Strange things happened to your image there, Leon. So first I saw a light at your hand, left hand at the bottom. I thought that was kind of some light there that you have there on the floor, but since you're running with your transmission, I see this light coming up, so I realized that this is sun ray coming through your window maybe. And there was some lightning QSB, if we can call that, during your image. There were times that your lightning was okay, it was nice, then it became dark again. I don't know if you have some clouds moving there, but that was the effect on your transmission. It's interesting, but in general everything was good. Yeah, for here in Brazil we cannot have any type of equipment, even being a licensed amateur radio. We have to get these equipments what they call homologated by the telecommunication agency. Yeah, you need to register and provide them with all kind of testing and stuff like that. I mean, and if the equipment transmit out of the amateur bands, they will not allow us to use. So it's more bureaucratic, but at some point can be good. But you know, anyways, there is lots of stuff coming from China, and nobody registered those equipments anyways, so it's a waste of time. All right, guys. Yeah, for Golf Whisk 7 Bravo Zulu Yankee. Yeah, well, we all expected you to play that saxophone, so that was, you know, now he's going no. So hopefully next weekend or the next one you can play a little bit for us. There was a guy from Germany once, he joined the net, and he played Gary must remember that. He played the keyboards, I think. Very nice guy from Germany. Speaking of Germany, missing guys from Germany, Netherlands, India, even South Africa. Many guys that used to join the net is no longer joining. I don't know. I don't know what we can do, Gary, to make these guys join again. But yeah, we're missing them. So hopefully we'll come back. Yeah, people from even Oman, Qatar, and all countries there, they could join the DATV net. Will be nice. All right, guys, thank you very much. Excellent, very nice net as always. Thank you, and hope to see you guys again next week in 73 from Papa Yankee 2 Radio November. And I forgot to mention that camera goes to Brian now, Golf 6 Hotel Fox Sierra. It's with you, Brian.
Yeah, okay. Cheers. Thanks, Ed. I'll just come back for a quick over. The only other thing I've done is got one of our friend Tom's bit of software working on a Pi 4. The shack clock he did. Thought I'd have a play with that. Oh, is it coming to focus yet? So that's pretty live. That's all working well. Some odd little signals coming up. So that's about all I've done. I think that's about it from me. I'll say thanks to everybody. Trying to get on a bit more regularly when other things allow me. So I'll say 7 3s and put a test card up and hand it back to the chairman. G6HFS.
Okay, Brian, very good. Nice over. I thought you weren't coming back, but I'm glad you did. And to echo what Ed said, yes, we do miss the chaps that have been on, Z, of course, and from India, there was a whole group of guys. We miss them a lot. I just hope they are still allowed to transmit. Saro, of course, we miss him. And then down ZS1 SCI. He'll be on hopefully the week after next. He's busy putting up a new dish. Tom has been very, very busy. I haven't even heard him on 2 meters or anything. He's been very busy at the salt mine, so he's doing real things instead of making wonderful programs for DATV. He's really gifted when it comes to that. He's done some fantastic work for us, and which we appreciate immensely. Who else? Yes, I suppose most of the UK guys were at CAT 23. So hopefully we'll hear all the nice news. Brian's just whetted our appetite with the receivers or the tuners, and a lovely board there, Brian. Well done. All right, with that, oh yeah, the rolls as well. On the 2nd of January 1996, my son and I went to Crewe as a guest at Rolls at the Crewe factory. I'd already had three Rolls Royces before then. I went to spec another one, the Spirit 4. That's the one that needs new shocks. And the very same day, Volkswagen directors were there to buy the place, which they did do eventually. So it was quite a historical thing, and we were not part of the thing, but we were there on the same day, so it was nice and interesting. And then in 2008, I think it was, I bought the new Phantom extended wheelbase, and my friend Sir Ian Robinson was the head of Rolls. He became head of BMW, and he said before we shipped that car to South Africa, now that was at the new factory, of course, in Goodwood, and we went there, my son and I as well. I thought I'll take him along with me, and it was very interesting, beautifully done, and blends in with the surroundings, unbelievable. Anyway, he said, I'm not letting that car go to South Africa unless we bulletproof it. And I thought he's nuts, but anyway, we did it just because I was rushing to get to Heathrow. His driver was taking us, of course, and that saved my life. But that's another day's story. That's another day's story. I was so pleased we did do that. Okay, with that, I'm going to close the Worldwide Net. I want to thank everybody on YouTube for watching, and hello to Jacques Botha. He's also on frequency. ZS6 Mike Alpha Victor. And so we have a lot of South Africans and Africans watching. And we also have a number of guys on the normal, why is this thing so slow? On the normal net, to Gunther. Saw him say hi to us, and to Bert, Papa Echo 2 Tango Victor, he was on. Chris, saxophone made in Belgium. Ocean November 1 Radio Charlie. And hello, Christian, Fox 5 United India, India. He says he loves the saxophone. Would love to so much, Peter. You must play a short piece. I'll be back next week to listen to Peter. Thanks for the whole network. Always nice having you on, Christian. And from the amateur radio community, we must thank you very much for what you did on the development of the software to make this available and to make it possible for amateurs to come onto DATV. Your hard work has certainly not gone unnoticed. So there we go. I just want to see what was Gunter's call sign now. Gee whiz, I wrote it down, but Gunter, waar is jy, Gunter? But anyway, let me just see if I didn't write it yet. No, I didn't. But Gunter was on as well, and pleased to see him on. With that, this is ZA6YI, now going to cut carrier, and as they say on the 80-meter band, open up the frequency for general use. 7-3 all, hope to see you all next week. This is Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India, near Johannesburg, South Africa, bidding everyone a happy week. 7-3.